statements from victims released by the Department of Justice now reveal that Epstein may not have been acting alone in Hollywood. New evidence is starting to point toward Ellen as a possible connection. Her name reportedly appears more than 100 times throughout the Epstein files, and investigators have now uncovered a newly discovered voicemail that was allegedly left by one of Epstein's victims.
Yeah. Hi, I'm a victim for you about Jeffrey. Her name is, she's been within about a year, less than a year. So you can call her on to set an appointment to meet up with her. Um, yeah, she doesn't want you at the house, but she said that you can call her. Okay. Today.
6 of the voicemails were reportedly recovered from Jeffrey Epstein's office phone line and were connected to a victim who was allegedly trying to expose his ties to Ellen. After comparing the timing of the calls with emails Epstein had been sending at the same time, online investigators began claiming that the person involved may have been Anne Hetch, Ellen's former girlfriend. Anne Hetch passed away only a few months after Ellen ended her talk show in 2022 and announced that she was stepping away from Hollywood.
Ambulance. That's some sort of sign, but yes. So basically, the activity that we were looking for, that anxious or that quick moving, that was going on the other side of the vehicle. Oh my gosh, he's completely alive.
What the hell?
But according to these claims, that was far from the most disturbing accusation connected to Ellen. Emails reportedly pulled from the Epstein files, along with several statements Ellen made publicly over the years, have led some people online to believe she may have been tied to deeply disturbing activities. One conspiracy theory spreading right now even claims that Ellen was allegedly connected to the consumption of human flesh, and supporters of that theory believe Anne Hetch was trying to expose everything before her death.
Now, that the Epstein files reveal Ellen DeGeneres as, and I'm quoting this directly from the posts, Hollywood's most prolific, that she consumed human flesh. Ellen DeGeneres is named in the Epstein documents, and that part is real. Her name appears in the broader index of over 300 high-profile individuals that show up across the investigative materials. Flight logs, communications, third-party interviews, peripheral records.
And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison? Yes? Yes? Smart? All right. Too large? What do you think? I'm going to order some pizzas.
For years, there have been rumors and conspiracy theories claiming that powerful people in Hollywood were connected to the consumption of human flesh, and supporters of those theories believe the emails linked to Epstein only added more fuel to the speculation. According to online investigators analyzing hundreds of thousands of emails released through Department of Justice records, Epstein and several of his associates allegedly used coded language when communicating with wealthy and influential friends. The supposed code words included food items like beef jerky, pizza, ice cream, grapes, sushi, and white tuna, and many people argue that the way those words were used in the conversation...
The number one point is they're not talking about real jerky here. We know that. It's code for something.
Right.
And when you go through some of the other emails that talk about how to refrigerate it, where to store it, how many pounds it is and things like that, your brain goes to some of that Peter Nygaard type world type things.
Absolutely. Now I've seen these, and I have access to the the index emails as well. It's and I try to go through them when time allows. But yeah, I would guess, if I were a betting man, that they're not talking about actual beef jerky. Not known to be an island treat. I mean, people eat a lot of fish down on the islands, and I'm sure other stuff too. But I mean, to me, this is code for something more nefarious.
There are code words that suggest Jeffrey Epstein and his associates could maybe even be engaging in some sort of consumption. Is that human consumption? Are there code words? There's a lot of talk of beef jerky. There's a restaurant called The Campbell where the owner is listed in some of these documents. Now, that isn't a restaurant that is just proclaiming to serve human meat by any means. But some of this just, it seems that there's a lot of conspiracies that make you wonder. And I saw more emails about torture, and these coded conversations still have a very clear topic. The torture was big. It was a big driver for them. And these were sick people doing very, very sick things.
6, according to these allegations, the elites involved were not only accused of consuming human flesh, but were also supposedly connected to harvesting human stem cells. Supporters of the theory point to reports from well-known investigative figures like Chris Hansen, who has spent years exposing predators, claiming that some of his findings appear to match details found inside the Epstein files. Epstein reportedly even operated a research facility on his private island where he invested heavily in stem cell experiments connected to his own children. The allegations claim that women were impregnated and stem cells were later taken from the fetuses as part of those experiments.
The recently released emails from the Epstein files show Jeffrey Epstein was interested in genetic medicine. He paid a researcher at Massachusetts General Hospital for tests that could be used to help create stem cells. Investigators found a $2,000 invoice from 2014 for sequencing part of Epstein's genome. The doctor that he paid also provided an estimate for personalized longevity studies that would use gene editing. He told investigators Epstein was enrolled in the Personal Genome Project at Harvard University.
He was
Oh,
a billionaire
yeah.
freakazoid. You know?
Yes.
And part of his deal, he's in prison up in jail up in Canada, waiting, charges all over the globe. But his deal was that he would allegedly impregnate young women in the Bahamas, where he had a huge home, and then have them get aborted and harvest their stem cells of the fetuses to inject in himself as the fountain of youth. And we get into this in that documentary. And was Epstein involved in that sort of activity? I don't know.
That's where, and again, we just have to look at what we have and know what we don't yet.
Yeah.
But it's a question.
Yeah,
when you look at the
it's a
context
legitimate
of the jerky
question.
stuff.
Yeah, and when you look at what other billionaire guys have done.
Alex Jones later claimed to explain in detail how these alleged operations supposedly worked behind the scenes, laying out a disturbing theory about what powerful elites were said to be doing in private and how those activities were allegedly connected to figures tied to Epstein's circle.
A child's half you, you're not going to get organ rejection. That's what Epstein was actually, one of his main businesses along with Peter Nygaard. Oh, yeah, it's much worse than just, 14-year-old, 15-year-old girls. They want you to just stay in that area and never get down the rabbit hole. That's the entrance to the rabbit hole, is 14, 15-year-old girls. No, down in the rabbit hole. Down in the rabbit hole is women getting pregnant with the man's own, so it doesn't get genetically rejected. Central African women, because they have dominant genes, and the stem cells are about 100 times better. Just a fact for health effects. And then the woman has in 8 months, they suck the baby dry of its bone marrow, its blood, and in multiple transfusions, put it into the rich old men and rich old women. And that's what Peter Nygaard, that's public, by the way, and not public, Epstein did, though it's leaked. He was into cloning and hundreds of babies of his own and underground medical facilities at Zorro Ranch, and all these medical chairs, all this. Oh, yeah, that's what they do.
In Hollywood, many people online started asking who was publicly using their platform to normalize the idea of using human stem cells and other controversial treatments to stay young. According to those accusations, the answer was Ellen. Critics claim she was not even trying to hide her alleged connection to the disturbing things Hollywood is now being accused of behind the scenes. In one interview with Sandra Bullock, Ellen and Sandra openly joked about beauty treatments tied to adrenochrome conspiracy theories, laughing during the conversation while talking about staying youthful. And that clip has since been heavily circulated online by people who believe it was revealing something much darker.
Okay, let's talk about this facial that you're obsessed with. How many, did you get the whole cast of Ocean's 8 to do
Not
this?
everybody.
Okay, and, good, smart ones.
Just those that I thought would appreciate it.
Okay, explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these. Some of you, I think many of you know it. And it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen, and then boosts it. You look like a burn victim for a day, but then it pushes. The
What are you pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Sarah?
Perry, what are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean.
for a long time, there have been online claims and speculation trying to link various celebrities to Jeffrey Epstein. When the Department of Justice first released images of Epstein's island, some people on the internet claimed they noticed similarities between a temple-like structure on the island and set designs that had appeared on Ellen's show. However, these comparisons are based on speculation and visual interpretation rather than verified evidence. Still, theories like these have continued to spread online, with some people arguing that Hollywood often hides or even subtly displays supposed secrets in plain sight, even though there is no confirmed proof supporting those claims.
Did you know that Ellen DeGeneres' stage set is exactly the same as on Epstein Island, with all the couches, the same colour, the same soft furnishings, palm trees, window, everything to the T. And I'm like,
really?
Wow.
oh.
Hey, we're getting some up now.
Getting some up now on our screen.
Yeah, there's palm trees. You're right.
But look at the backdrop behind her, striped building.
No, Emma, there's
palm
nothing
trees.
to see here.
So don't berate her.
I'm not berating, I'm just saying.
I'm going to look further.
There has also been a lot of discussion online about the crown and skeleton symbols found in Jean Michel Basquiat's art, with some people claiming that both Jay-Z and Ellen have been seen wearing or referencing similar imagery. Some self-proclaimed investigators believe these symbols could be hints towards supposed elite occult connections. There are even further claims circulating that these images match certain disturbing files that were allegedly found on Epstein's laptop, which some theories suggest link high-profile politicians to ritualistic activity and other secretive wrongdoing.
Symbolism will be their downfall. Or is it just art? And let me be the first to tell you, it's all connected. I mean, if you know, you know. But first, let's go back to that video of Ellen DeGeneres. When the camera turns, you can see the inside of her house. Now, see that picture right there? Well, if you pause it and look it up, it says evil thoughts with revenge right next to it. Here's another picture of Ellen in her house, and this is the picture behind her. Now, the thing I'm curious about is the letters on top of the picture. These look oddly similar to the letters Marina Abramovich writes out when she does spirit cooking. Remember the beginning of the video? It's all connected. And that person that was in all red is Lady Gaga, and she went to Marina Abramovich many times for teaching. But let's continue. This is another picture of Ellen in her home. She's cutting her mother's hair, but what is that picture above her head?
6 court documents from Ghislaine Maxwell's case have fueled a lot of online discussion about Jeffrey Epstein's connections within powerful social circles, including Hollywood. In the days leading up to Ellen announcing the end of the Ellen DeGeneres show, some online claims suggested that Epstein had allegedly made arrangements with multiple celebrities to help improve his public image and connect him with younger talent in the entertainment industry. However, these claims remain part of ongoing speculation and interpretation rather than established fact. Critics online have even pointed to the timing of Ellen stepping away from her show around the period of Maxwell's legal proceedings as suspicious, framing it as a potential red flag, though there is no confirmed evidence linking her to those allegations.
So according to a newly filed court document, Ghislaine Maxwell, the former associate of Jeffrey Epstein, she was convicted of trafficking, sentenced to 20 years in prison. She claims that 25 men, maybe friends, associates of the deceased financier, have been protected under secret settlements, secret deals, and that this information was not revealed to her during her trial. This is on top of what she claims are 4 other individuals, alleged co-conspirators, who were never charged. Obviously, I have thoughts. Is she telling the truth, particularly given her past, in light of what she's trying to do now? If this is true, number one, wow. And who are these people? What is a secret settlement? Can we ever find out? Can the public ever find out? So I'm made of questions. I'm bringing on an expert right now to tackle all of this.
Then, there is also the claim that the 2 individuals who some believe could have exposed Ellen both reportedly died around the same period when this situation gained public attention, while the Ellen show ended in May 2022, and by the end of that same year, Stephen Twitch Boss, who was an Ellen co-producer and widely described as her close friend of many years, along with Anne Hetch, her former partner, had both died under circumstances that were widely described online as extremely mysterious.
In May 2002, the Ellen DeGeneres show was canceled, and then 2 months later, Anne Hesh, Ellen's ex-girlfriend, was in a really bad car accident where she flew her Mini Cooper into someone's house and it caught fire. And what has never sat right with me is the cross comparison between the coroner's report and the actual aerial footage. The coroner's report says that she was unconscious until her death, just from smoke inhalation and from being brain dead from the fumes in her brain. But if you look at the footage, she sits straight up, and that takes a conscious effort, I feel. But I'm not a scientist. I mean, I'm not a doctor. But the other thing is her other host, her co-host Twitch, died 4 months after that. And I just think that that's a suspicious amount of like close people around you dying in weird ways. But I don't know. Anyways, this is my driver. And I went to the Ellen show once and she gave me Magic Mike Live tickets. Anyways.
Stephen Twitch Boss also reportedly left a note before his death, where he allegedly mentioned that his time on The Ellen Show was a major source of burden and stress that was pushing him toward taking this extreme step.
We're learning more tonight about the tragic side of Stephen Twitch Boss and the detailed steps he took to hide his plans. TMZ is reporting when Twitch left his home the day before he took an Uber to a motel about a mile away. At the motel, he switched his phone to airplane mode so no one could reach him. The motel manager says he checked in under his own name and never left his room. We also now know that Twitch left his note. Details have not been made public, but TMZ reports the note alluded to challenges Twitch had faced in the past. Entertainer Tyler Perry knows firsthand what that is like.
I want to take you back to a time in my life where I tried to commit a couple of times because it was so dark. I thought the only way to make this better, this pain go away, is stay in my life. Had any of those attempts happened, I would have missed the best part of my life.
6, the timing of Ellen leaving the U.S. is not helping her case either, as, according to a Department of Justice memo released in 2024, they had finished their review of the Epstein files and were preparing to release a client list along with making all emails and court documents publicly available. And just 3 months after this announcement, Ellen reportedly said she was leaving the United States for good and moving to the UK.
Ellen DeGeneres and her wife, Portia de Rossi, have reportedly fled the US, bound for the UK, after Donald Trump's landslide victory. Numerous publications are reporting the couple have left the United States permanently. There are also reports the couple have put their Montecito mansion on the market. Entertainment publication The Wrap has the exclusive story and said, Ellen DeGeneres and wife Portia de Rossi have moved to rural England, put their Montecito estate on the market, and plan to never return to the United States, telling friends the election of Donald Trump was their primary motivation. Ellen DeGeneres has been a vocal Trump critic, so the move doesn't come as a surprise to most.
They're losing their minds.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very
she could
sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia. Could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah.
Release the Diddy files. Come on, Donald Trump. We want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown at her as well. But what a bunch of hypocrites.
6, once you look at what some of Epstein's victims had to say about the situation, it becomes clear why most of Epstein's alleged co-conspirators chose to run away, as journals and diaries belonging to victims said to have been kept on Epstein's island were also discovered. And in these diaries, the victims describe being abused by some of the most powerful men in the world, including Bill Gates, high-ranking U.S. politicians, Howard Lutnick, the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, and even a prince from the British royal family, with claims that the victims had no choice but to stay silent.
With Ghislaine Maxwell being right there. So as much as we talk about Epstein and all that, sometimes we don't talk enough about what these accusers, what these alleged victims went through. So let me read you from these, again, what appear to be diary entries. Close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. Don't speak, she doesn't talk. I can't stop shaking and it's been a week. A decision was made, but I can't tell Jeffrey. These things happen. Why didn't I close my eyes fast enough? The doctor was different again, I think from Israel. He had kind eyes, but didn't speak directly to me. This was different. And those rod-like things had a hook and so much pain. Ghislaine said to push all the pain away. I don't understand. Blood and water all over the bed, and she was right. Like a feeling when your tummy hurts and you have to push. She said to close my eyes and put her hands over my eyes, but I didn't close them because of these tiny cries. I am so lost. I saw between her fingers this tiny head and body in the doctor's hands. It reached its tiny arm up and had a tiny foot. I closed my eyes and no more cries. And when you go to page 20 of this particular packet, chillingly, there is even a picture of a sonogram on a page with the words, "She is gone and she won't be coming back." And next to what appears to be a poem entitled Child, you have passages such as, "Your clear eye is the one absolutely beautiful thing. I want to fill it with color and ducks." Now, we don't know for sure who this person is. We don't know if this claim is real. We don't know if this sonogram is the baby the person mentions. And also, we can't confirm whether any charges or investigations were launched because of this specific account or accounts. But it seems the allegation is clear, right? That she was impregnated, and as I'll get into, either by Jeffrey Epstein or maybe she was a surrogate of some kind, but the baby was taken away. And what is interesting when we talk about her credibility, at least to me, is the apparent specificity of detail and acknowledging certain personal details about Epstein.
A diary belonging to one of Epstein's victims was also reportedly recovered, and Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly met a 14-year-old victim and her family at a camp funded by celebrities, where Epstein and Maxwell are said to have preyed on this girl by offering scholarships, mentoring her, buying her things, and even helping her begin a modeling career, with claims that they were highly skilled at coercion and knew exactly what kind of girls to target who would be more vulnerable to manipulation. And the most disturbing part is that the diary allegedly suggests that parents knew what their children were getting into.
First met J.E. and GM sitting at a picnic table with friends. GM walked by with the dog. J.E. came up to meet her. "Do you like teachers, classes, etc.? I give scholarships." 6 weeks later, someone called from the office asking, "Come by for tea, can send driver." Had tea with mom by the pool. Likes to mentor, give scholarships. Brothers, poor, didn't have a lot of money. J.E. said he could help. Mom called him our godfather. Perfect grooming. GM always there, didn't know what relationship was. Kind of became big sis. "Oh, pick you up. We'll go to movies." J.E. loved massages. Other women would provide. Women would remove top. I'd have to rub feet, and he have me witness sexual contact. Same, similar people, women, girls, had professional massage therapists. Other girls around looked like models. Like 100 times he had me in the room when massaged. LA stay. A lot of girls around. One girl freaked out and cried. I gave her a hug. She said, "I don't want to do this. I have a boyfriend." Me and another girl said, "Don't worry about it. Leave, or stay out here." J.E. made me stand in my underwear.
6 another victim said the same thing, claiming that her parents handed her over to Epstein and that they knew exactly what was happening on that island. In interview segment 16, there are also rumors that Epstein's alleged co-conspirators are now trying to get rid of witnesses.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Elaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was I was 10. That is how long the ring has been going.
Some victims have also claimed that there are bodies buried on Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico.
It's a harrowing read, and it'll make you feel uncomfortable. But these are the excerpts that stood out for me from the memoir written by the late Virginia Giuffre, which has just been released. In it, she describes being by Jeffrey Epstein to, quote, a man who raped me more savagely than anyone had before. Now, it's worth noting that in the US edition of the book, she described the man in legal filings only as, quote, a prime minister, and that he had repeatedly choked her until she lost consciousness and, quote, took pleasure in seeing me fear for my life. Giuffre doesn't name the Prime Minister or many of the other men that she writes about in this book. Her co-author, Amy Wallace, says it shouldn't be up to the survivors to out their... It should be the authorities, which is why she's calling for the so-called Epstein files to be released. Giuffre does name Epstein and Prince Andrew, of course, who she says she had encounters with in multiple locations. And she also reveals some of the alleged tactics that Prince Andrew used when it became apparent that her story was going to get out.
Some victims have also claimed that there are bodies buried on Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico.
We're finally getting to look inside Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch in our state through some new photos. Epstein and his estate owned the Santa Fe County property until 2023. That's when former Texas State Senator Donald Huffines bought it. Now, these new photos of the property are from an insurance company, and they were taken when Epstein was still alive. I mean, you can see just how big the property is, multiple offices, cabins, barns, buildings. I mean, look at the large pool inside. Then you have a great room right there with that huge chandelier. At the time, there was also a fire truck, tanker, and trailer on the property, as well as a firehouse and storage facility. Meanwhile, there is a growing memorial on the property's outskirts paying tribute to Epstein's victims and survivors.
I can't imagine what they had to endure. I wanted everybody to know that New Mexico was strong and that we would represent these victims, living victims, survivors.
As for Ellen's alleged role in the disappearance of these victims, Sean from The People's View, one of the biggest investigative journalists on Twitter, said that his investigation revealed that Ellen was involved in Anne Heche's death and disappearance.
Ellen ate her ex-partner Anne Heche, piece by cursed piece, after the actress was eliminated in that blatantly suspicious car crash, while she was closing in on the Hollywood pipelines. Investigators now confirm that after the accident, Ellen pulled strings to claim Anne's body, locked it in her mansion freezer like unholy relics, and consumed her former lover in slow, deliberate occult ceremonies over the years. This is not some twisted modern fetish. This is primordial evil, clawing its way back, hidden behind red carpets, charity galas, and morning show smiles. We're teetering on the edge of the abyss. One more silence, one more cover-up, and this ancient evil devours everything. Our world, our children, our future. Don't move. This is our final warning. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. Jeffrey Epstein's Hollywood elite circle has been exposed as outright not fringe rumors anymore. Hard evidence is surfacing from the 2026 Epstein file dumps. Millions of DOJ pages packed with jerky as code for human flesh, parts in freezers, yacht dismemberment rituals, and eyewitness accounts of elites eating infant remains like it's a sacrament. Here is Epstein and Woody Allen, casually chatting about devouring parts and crunching bones like it's dinner talk. Hollywood's elite menu gets darker with every file drop. And for those willing to dig, it's all laid out in black and white.
Recently, a purported Epstein note was reported in April 2026, with the New York Times saying it had been sealed for years, and that Epstein's cellmate found it in July 2019 after Epstein's earlier attempt. And the note was reportedly described as saying, "Time to say goodbye," although it has not been publicly reviewed.
New development connected to the Jeffrey Epstein case. A former cellmate telling the New York Times he found a supposed side note written by the late convicted sex offender just weeks before his death.
He finds the note tucked away in a book. They shared this cell. Epstein later gets transferred. His death obviously ruled a suicide, but this is the first we're ever hearing of this possible suicide note. We haven't seen the note. The New York Times also hasn't seen it. It also wasn't released as part of the so-called Epstein files. It's not in there. The reason is it's apparently under seal with a court here in New York, because that cellmate's in a dispute with his lawyers. And so it's under seal. It's been kept secret now for years, but it's all raising a lot of questions about transparency. As you know, of course, the conspiracy theories around this case are just enormous.
So, the question being raised is whether Ellen is simply being pulled into another internet conspiracy, or whether there is something deeper that investigators have not yet uncovered, as the story continues to develop and attract more attention with each new claim.